remember the moment like a strike of lightning, sudden and blinding. We were at Martin and Claire's party, the kind of gathering where everyone laughed a little too loudly, glasses clinked a little too often, and the music seemed designed to drown out thoughts you didn't want to have. Clara leaned in close, brushing a stray strand of hair from her face, and said quietly, almost under her breath, "I wish I'd come alone." Her words hit me like a punch to the gut. The warmth of her hand in mine went cold in an instant. I forced a smile, trying to mask the shock, but inside, everything twisted. Come alone. What did that mean? Were we not good together? I tried to brush it off, told myself I was imagining things. But even as I nodded and murmured, "We're having fun," I could feel the first seeds of doubt taking root. The night passed in a blur. Clara laughed at jokes I didn't hear, excused herself to the kitchen for long stretches, and kept checking her phone with a nervous energy I hadn't noticed before. I told myself I was overthinking, that maybe she just wanted a break from me for a little while. But the gnawing unease refused to go away. Over the next few days, I noticed the small cracks that had always been there but now seemed glaring. Texts she hid too quickly, sudden smiles at nothing, moments of absence even when she was in the same room. My mind clutched at every detail, the way she sometimes left her phone on silent, the vague explanations for late nights at work, the perfume I didn't recognize. I told myself I was paranoid. I wanted to believe in us, in the trust we had built. But love, I realized, is not always enough when doubt creeps in like a shadow. A week later, she said she was going to visit her friend downtown. "I'll be back in a couple of hours," she said, slipping into her coat. There was a light in her eyes, a subtle hesitation, and the faintest trace of something I couldn't name. I watched her leave, stomach churning, and my hand itched toward her phone. I hadn't meant to check, really, I hadn't, but curiosity, suspicion, fear, they all drove me. Her GPS showed her walking into a small cafe I didn't recognize. Not her friend's apartment. Not a place I knew she frequented. My heart sank. I felt the panic rise, sharp and suffocating. I sat in the car, gripping the steering wheel, every breath heavy. Why would she lie? The question gnawed at me, twisting love into something bitter. I followed her, keeping a cautious distance. She moved with ease, laughing softly into her phone. The man she was talking to was tall, casual, familiar with her in a way that made my chest ache. It wasn't dramatic, no public embrace, no confrontation. Just small gestures of comfort, conversation that seemed intimate, subtle touches that belonged to someone else's world. I didn't confront her immediately. I sat in my car, heart hammering, mind racing through every memory of us. The quiet dinners, the lazy Sundays, the whispered promises. Were they all lies? Or just fragments of truth, shaded by moments she had shared elsewhere? The thought made me feel hollow, unmoored. When she returned home hours later, wet from a sudden drizzle, I was waiting. The apartment was silent, heavy with tension. She hung her coat slowly, hesitated in the doorway, and for the first time, I saw the faint tremor of guilt in her hands. "I had a nice afternoon," she said softly, trying for lightness. "Just caught up with someone from work." Her words didn't land. They fell flat, brittle. I felt my chest tighten. "Clara." "I know," I said quietly. My voice was calm, but my insides were trembling. "I know what you've been doing. The cafe, the calls. I followed you." Her face froze. I watched her blink, swallowing, like she was trying to swallow the truth itself. I didn't mean for you to find out," she whispered. Tears pricked at her eyes, and my heart cracked a little more. "It wasn't, not what you think. I didn't. I felt alone. I needed someone to talk to." I sank onto the couch, feeling the weight of betrayal settle over me. Memories twisted, sharp and unfamiliar. The laughter we shared, the evenings on the couch, even the quiet mornings, now they seemed tinged with deceit. My mind struggled to reconcile the woman I loved with the one I had just followed, laughing and touching someone else, even if only emotionally. "I still love you," she said, voice cracking. I got lost. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't trying to hurt you." Her words were a balm and a blade at the same time. I wanted to scream, to run, to punish. Instead, I felt numb, hollowed out by grief, anger, confusion, and an ache that seemed endless. I realized then that love doesn't disappear in betrayal. It transforms, complicated by pain and longing, entwined with the very hurt it suffers. 4 days, we sat in that fragile limbo. She tried to reach out, gently, carefully, as if testing whether my trust could still be touched. I watched her, heart heavy, torn between the memory of us and the evidence of her deception. I wanted to hate her, to shut the door, but every fiber of me still ached with love. And love, I realized, doesn't vanish easily, even when betrayed. Eventually, I asked her to sit down with me, to talk honestly about everything. She confessed fully, the loneliness, the conversations that turned into emotional intimacy, the moments she wished she could erase. Her voice was raw, trembling, sincere, and I saw the human side of her, the flawed, fragile, remorseful woman I married. Not a villain, just someone who had sought comfort in the wrong place. I realized I had a choice. Walk away, leave behind what we built, preserve a sense of dignity, or try to rebuild, slowly, painfully, knowing the foundation had cracks but also recognizing the heart that still beat alongside mine. I chose the latter, though I knew it wouldn't be easy. Forgiveness would take time. Trust would have to be earned again, day by day. Weeks passed. Every shared glance carried the weight of suspicion and hope. Every conversation, every touch, was an exercise in rebuilding a delicate bridge. And slowly, I saw glimmers of her honesty, her remorse, her commitment to repairing what had been broken. It wasn't simple. It wasn't easy. But it was real. One evening, sitting together on the couch, her head on my shoulder, she whispered, "I know I hurt you. I know it won't be easy. But I want to try. If you'll let me." I held her hand, feeling the tremor of her sincerity. "I can't promise it will be the same," I said softly. "But I want to try too. We have to be honest, completely. That's the only way forward." Later, lying alone in bed, I reflected on everything. The betrayal, the heartbreak, the love that persisted despite it. I understood, finally, that love is never simple, trust is never guaranteed, and yet, even after it fractures, the human heart can endure, rebuild, and discover clarity through the pain. And in that quiet, aching moment, I realized something true. Sometimes love is tested not in perfection, but in the courage to face betrayal, the willingness to forgive, and the strength to move forward knowing the scars will always remain, but so will the capacity to love.